probably never leave me. And it was not necessarily in my treatment, but in the treatment of somebody else that I observed. This is this person who's unable to speak. And she's, having that treatment. They have lasers, they have music going. And I think the whole office came in and started singing this song together to encourage her to be able to speak. And you just don't find that everywhere. That compassion for someone, and that the uniqueness to come and want to be a part of it and sing with joy and love, like that will probably never leave my mind. Like I honestly, I got goosebumps when I was watching it, and I thought, oh, God is most definitely present here.
So as a caregiver, you hold so much of their trauma in yourself. For me personally, I was trying to take his trauma, trying to take his pain, trying to take all of that into my own body so that he didn't have to feel that. And I thought that I had let it go, but until I sat with Dr. Jerry, I had not let go of it, obviously, because I still felt that tension in my body. But as soon as she did that to me, it was like a full release of just everything. And I let out a huge breath, and Jaden let out a huge breath at the exact same time that I did. We're so connected that if I let my trauma go from this situation, he'll feel that trauma leave his body too. And then he can feel the peace, then I think he has the opportunity to heal.
We have some new technology. This is SoftWave. I'm extremely excited about this for multiple reasons. We're one of the first clinics in the world to be using it for brain applications. I've had some first-hand experience on some amazing regenerative capacity with this machine on what it can do for the brain, restoring function extremely quickly, getting people out of pain faster than I've ever seen before. I've literally seen, even this week, I've seen primitive reflexes literally inhibit or integrate faster than I've ever seen before when we use it on the brain, but then also specifically for those primitive reflexes. We're the first to do it, that kind of application, which is really exciting. We'll continue to do some pilot studies. We're working in collaboration with SoftWave to do those research studies. So extremely excited. We're also using this now in combination with our B-cell procedure, using it before and after to help enhance the stem cells, which it is clinically proven, but also proven in the research to enhance, upregulate that stem cell response. So very excited about that.
I'm Kim. I'm the Director of Events for Team Look Hope for Minds, and we're just so blessed to have you guys here today. I am so excited to announce our next presenter, who a lot of patients know her as Dr. M. But first, I'm going to let Kathy give her a better bio, because I'm bad with pronunciation, so I didn't want to mess her name up. Anyways, here y'all go.
It's an honor. Thank you so much, everybody, for your invitation and support. My name is Kathy Carr. I am a proud mother of a child with medical complexities due to a rare genetic condition who has seen transformative results because of MNRI. I also am the editorial director, author, and writer for the MNRI Masgutova method, a great honor. And so again, it is my honor to present Dr. Svetlana Masgutova, founder and creator of the MNRI Masgutova method. She will be lecturing, and I will be introducing the abstract for review. The title of this lecture is The Effect of MNRI Reflex Neuromodulation Exercises on Children Post-NFD and HIE, Brain Mapping Results. Limited blood flow and oxygen deprivation to the brain, as experienced during NFD and HIE events, reactivates both primitive and primary reflexes for survival. Once the event has passed and initial damage to the brain has slowed, reflexes remain hyperactivated or in a disconnected state. These overactive reflexes can cause even more damage, including possible posturing into decorticate or decerebrate positions, a loss of previously learned developmental skills, and an inability to regain these skills. Severe damage can cause even the reflexes to become pathological, in which the reflex circuit is not regulated, and neural pathways are not paved and myelinated as they should be. Therefore, these reflexes cannot serve as the neurophysiological basis for higher level abilities and skills. Dr. Svetlana Masgutova, creator of the MNRI method of reflex integration, developed a therapy protocol specifically for NFD and HIE injuries that focuses on these post-trauma deficits. She will explain the developmental repercussions of these injuries and present a research study performed on the population in which brain mapping testing was performed before and after 5 days of intensive MNRI therapy that included a novel reflex neuromodulation protocol. Unique changes in the brainwave spectrums were detected, and behavioral changes based on reflex patterns, postures, and neurodevelopment were observed. These results bring new perspectives on the use and effectiveness of MNRI techniques for this amazingly resilient and beautiful population. Again, it is my honor to present Dr. Masgutova.
Thank you. Hello. Hello, everyone. Warm greetings. We start our presentation. Deep thank you to the team Look Hope for Minds. Thank you very much for invitation and for support of our program now a couple of years or something like 5 years. Thank you very much. Our topic, the effect of the Masgutova Neuro-Sensory-Motor reflex neuromodulation exercises on children with post-NFD and HIE, brain mapping results. Some examples of case studies. I want immediately to go with this short case study, I would say case success, where we had a girl, NFD, 11-year-old age, that was locked in flexed posture for 6 years. Within 5 days of, I would say, therapeutic marathon, 5 days, this is 5 hours a day, we reached the result that you see there on your right. So I think this is something really incredible. To see that there are still some more tools that we can use that can bring to shortcut pathway to reach some incredible result. 6 years, it was difficult to wash this child. It was difficult to feed this child, as you understand, being just like caught up, locked in this position. And within 5 days, our specialists working with basically 5-6 programs, they reach the result of amazing extension. Sure, we have still ups, we still have tons of work in this case. And for us to understand, if we will look at different postures, the posture of flexion, and here it is opistotonus, where a child goes to pathological overextension as a result of the brain damage, whether it is hypoxia, whether anoxia, some temporary stop, pause of the oxygen flow to the brain, or let's say complete stop and then resuscitation, yeah. So with extension, it is usually much easier to work. I think that I must push this button. Okay, so here, for example, we see the pathological overextension, which is easier for us in our method to work in comparison with the flexion. And now you see the result, which is amazing. So very shortly about statistics that you know perfectly well, guys. 4,000 of individuals in the United States, they die every year from drowning. And that means 11 drownings per day. And among those who are going with non-fatal drowning, this is actually 22 cases, accidents per day. So, and the drowning, the leading cause of death for children ages 1-4. In some countries it will be 1-7, depending whether they're close to water or any differences in comparison, like comparative to United States. And the death many times is to the age of 14. I'm not going to all these things. I only want to come with some very interesting fact why we got interested in NFD and HIE. Something like 20-25 years ago, I remember how my son, who was also a leader in this program, brought me like 10 or 12 articles, and he told, "Mom, look at this. They are saying that NFD and HIE, basically, non-treatable. They are in physiological condition of survival. They do not need any help of physiotherapists, occupational therapists, educational specialists, including different other medical directions, and also work with their traumatic experience." And it was just like very painful, because we had children and adults with non-fatal drowning diagnosis and HIE long years, and we always knew the being paralyzed in postures, whether it is, let's say, with the hands overextended in elbows, which actually brings the both shoulders forward and causes flexion. Flexors are more reactive or overworking, yeah? Or it is the posture when the hands are at the chest, and this is extending the body. So these are the versions that are considered non-treatable, decorticate, decerebrate patterns that are messing up our most important biomechanics and also survival functions. In biomechanics, basically it is about flexion and extension. When child, adult goes through the accident, submerging into water, and then challenges, I would say, compromises the breathing system, then brain is messing up some of protection survival mechanisms, the reflexes, and next we have the, I would say, negative effect of that. We have dysfunctions and pathology for connection of the brain with biomechanics, whether for flexion, whether for extension. This is basic root that we want to focus in our work, guys. So how from disconnect state of the body within excitators, inhibitors, excitation, inhibition neurotransmitters, and between the postural control, biomechanics, to bring links with the brain. Because when there is hypoxia and anoxia, then our red nucleus in the brain stem works the way whether the brain will be damaged before reaching the red nucleus or after. And next, posturing, pathological posturing will be dependent on that. So when we talk about HIE, then every 2-3 children's newborn per 1,000 births, they are going with lack of oxygen into their brain. Reasons are different. Mismanagement, high-risk pregnancy, intrauterine growth restrictions, rupture of the uterus, placental complications, umbilical cord complications, maybe delayed C-section, different other reasons. Hypoxia and possible also leading to anoxia. Independently of the diagnosis, in our reflex neuromodulation work, we are looking at the reasons. And reasons here, for us, when we are looking at reflexes, are very similar. Although, sure, there are some specific differences. First, similarity, it is about loss of proper postural control. So this is because of disconnect of the body by chemical mechanisms, body biomechanics, and how biomechanics is connected with survival reflexes, and next it is the connection with the brain. Okay, let's go further. In very short, pathophysiology of drowning, submerging now our, let's say, child or an adult are going with triggering of reflexes. And here, these are breathing reflexes and swimming reflexes. Normal swimming reflexes now challenged, and they cannot fulfill their functions of joy. Instead of that, accident happens. Loss of breathing hold. So the protection of the airways, this is the task. And now, on this stage of the drowning, the reflex is jumping. This is strong pause of the breathing. So now this will go with gasp reflex pattern, and then it is our larynx. And our larynx will go to spasmatic response, whether it will be the fluid inhalation or it will be no fluid inhalation. Then it is so-called NFD by dry principle, by dry basis. So laryngospasm causes now aspiration, and what is happening next, it is actually failure of the blood circulation to bring enough of oxygen and nourishment. This is clear. And next, brain goes to hypoxia, or worst case, it is anoxia, and then the damage of the brain that can lead to brain death. So when we talk about the pathophysiology, I only want to say that on every stage of all this, specific reflexes jump in to help. But because of the brain anoxia and hypoxia, reflexes cannot fulfill their main task of protection. So with HIE, here, what is so very much important, whether pre-birth state, whether during birth or immediately after birth, this is again the accident of hypoxia or anoxia takes place. And basically the whole, so to say, sequence of the how reflexes step in to protect the baby going within breathing system. So, and depending on all that, next, the hypoxia can develop different diagnoses, different challenges, health states, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, vision, hearing issues, including also blindness, complete, or maybe it is cortical blindness, also cognitive impairment. So when we have the situation with NFD or HIE, first thing what is happening, this is the proportion of the work of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve system. Parasympathetic nerve system that is in rest and norm state is taking care of the, let's say, rest, relaxation, processing of the food, and also takes care of the reanimation and the leads us to, again, to resourceful state, cannot function, and sympathetic nerve system is overworking. And here, the vicious circuit is there. So when brain is damaged, pathological state of the brain, next leads to failure to maintain proper processing of the sensory stimulus. And in sensory stimulus, very much important to know what of 11 receptors are not working, switched off. Independently, whether receptors of superficial touch or deep touch, by the words proprioceptors, independently of how they are relating between themselves, the most important key, this is proprioceptors, proprioception, according first law by Charles Sherrington, discovery of 1925-27. So we will work with specific techniques, we will create the techniques in order to activate proprioceptive system, in order to connect receptors, so-called spindle cells, Golgi tendon, in order to reach elasticity. What is lost with improper flexion, extension, or we call this negative pathological posturing in NFD and HIE, it is loss, complete loss of one reflex, which is called elasticity reflex. When spindle cells and Golgi cells reflexes come together, they are opening possibility for elasticity reflex. All our techniques have one secret underneath, I would say. Our touch, how we work, how we accomplish our protocols, they always are focused on exactly how we can switch this elasticity mechanism. Today we call this elasticity reflex. That was discovered so early by Charles Sherrington, as I told already. So we will work with reflexes in order to do all possible to support their mechanism, because they are starting point for loops that we need to create again, guys. Reflexes, we need to reanimate them. We need to create loops, and this is what is the reason why we are paying such much attention at the sensory stimulus. Next, we are working with postural and motor control. And for that, we start from the beginning, again, from reflexes. That is not about conscious control, guys. It is not about programming, planning, and control yet. We start from regulation. How in movement, the excitation inhibition mechanisms of a reflex circuit that are in the reflex circuit or on level of basal ganglia could be used in order next to start this possibility for reflexes to serve further the mechanisms of neurodevelopment. How this all can help for the birth of new neurons, stem cells. How it will help with timing latency of nerve transmission. How it will help next to connect the paths of reflexes because they are damaged. Sensory neuron, the processing path, the central nerve system, then motor neuron, they are disconnected. And disconnect can be so serious that the whole nerve system that is responsible for automaticity, extrapyramidal nerve system, and the part of nerve system that is responsible for conscious mind, for comprehension, this is our cortical part, could be completely in disconnect. Last year, there were done several discoveries that show that there are specific neurons that are connecting automaticity part of nerve system, extrapyramidal and pyramidal. It is something mind-blowing discovery, guys, that gives us hope if we will start working with proprioceptive system, with cerebellum, where they are located mainly, we will find the ways to organize this connection back from extrapyramidal nervous system to pyramidal, such as, let's say, LP5 neuron. Okay, so next, for sure, if the postural control and the motor control, motor coordination control, not possible to realize properly, then we will have different challenges. Challenges with muscle tone, challenges with movements, coordination of movements, behavior, also emotions and cognitive processes. You understand, if our eyes are locked in the position straight ahead and we have tunnel vision and our eyes cannot do the movements to left and right for horizontal plane eye tracking reflex, then we are stuck with our head, with our body. And in order to see anything on side, we should go with whole body. We are frozen in all this. And a child that is already in pathological posturing, pathological posture, they cannot allow themselves, they cannot do these things. This is why here is the goal, to understand how we go to vicious circuit of immobility, disconnectivity, before we will start working further with our children. So here is our wonder boy, NFD, and within 5 days you see what is happening with overextended legs here. So it is all positive result, because here you see again flexion of the arms. So it is after some more of sessions already. So instead of going with the posturing that we call Decorticate posture, he already goes to some more freedom for the arms apart, which is tonic labyrinthine reflex pattern. Okay, so now, what is biggest thing is happening with this, I would say, pathological circuit that we discussed before? That starts with brain damage, then it is damage of sensory system, then it goes to damage of the motor system, then, let's say, functions, cognitive functions, and other. So we need to remember that every reflex emerges sometime. The earliest time, basically, when we talk about patterns of reflexes, at 9 weeks of gestation, and our baby is in aquatic environment, do you agree? In amniotic fluid. So if we will catch up possibility over the, use the knowledge of neuroembryology and how reflexes emerge, we will repeat this pathway back, guys. And for reanimation of reflex patterns themselves, this is one of the best discoveries. This is why we now created a program on neuroembryology and reflexes for our university. University opened like 3 years ago now, yeah? So 3 years ago, our university level program is functioning. Okay, so they emerge at some certain age. Next, they develop. Truly, they are formed first if it is during intrauterine development. Then they develop. Then they mature. What does this mature means? So development means that our body-brain system will repeat again and again the pattern. This is essential. This is essentiality, because only repetition of the reflex circuit will allow to pave the pathways. Our reflexes and nerve system share the same nerve system. So if we're working with reflexes, then we're improving the functions of the nerve system. And the law of development of nerve system within reflex pattern, within its unit A reflex, needs repetition, guys, because we are paving the pathway. Next, when we talk about maturity, we actually mean neurophysiological maturity. It is myelination, guys. This is why myelination is very much important. Now, repetition itself leads to myelination, though we understand here additional condition also is needed. Let's say it is concerned with food, nutrition system, yeah? We need to do all our possible in order for brain to get this myelination, in order for nerve system to get this myelination. And again, if our spindle cells do not work, If our Golgi tendon reflex doesn't work, they cannot come together in order to move the body and properly, timely, with good intensity, with strength and pattern, then it is difficult to promise any movement mobility further on. So we want to start from the beginning from reflexes, because the pathway for mobility will come easier, faster. It will be a shortcut way. And when we talk about integrity, this is, guys, very high level of integrity. That means our reflex will now trigger the consciously learned programs, possibly, if some functions of the brain still are alive. If not, then to optimize, to create the compensatory pathways that will work better than we are going to some kind of abstract and, I would say, not systematized principle of work of the brain. The systemic work of brain is very much important, because reflexes, we are born with reflexes, guys. We are developing thanks to reflexes. Up to 2-3-year-old age, it is very much important to have our reflexes matured, neurophysiologically matured. They are promising us next to connect our body-mind system with high abilities and skills, such as, let's say, selective perception, reception perception, then it is focusing, attention span, memory, cognitive abilities, control of movements, control of behavior, control of emotions, control of interaction, control of our communication, and even us being us, in sense of development of the personality, yeah? So reflex, what is a reflex? In very short, it is genetic, epigenetic, inherent automatic response. It is a unit of the central nervous system for adequate and specific stimulus, tactile, visual, auditory, vestibular, proprioceptive, olfactory. And with this, it is causing, triggers proper, adequate, and specific reaction, motor, postural, glandular, pupillary tympanic membrane, and most important, what we add in our protocol, in our program, it is activating protection and survival strategy. Protection and survival strategy. The so-called stress axes. This is SAM, sympathetic adrenal medullary, and HPA stress axis, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, adrenals. Real disconnect will happen if we see the work only of sympathetic adrenal medullary stress axis on the level of the spinal cord and not on the HPA stress axis when signals are not coming to the brain. There are possibilities to really build the connections between these two levels of the stress axes. So knowing all this, next, what we will have, we'll have the concept how we can help survival, protection of life, survival in this life, come to next possibility to switch on neurodevelopmental mechanisms. I told already, this is birth of new cells. These are building interconnections, the synaptogenesis, understanding of synaptogenesis. Next, this is the intraconnectivity of the reflex pathways, sensory, brain processing part, the motor, and then how to trigger also the brain feedback for biological system to know how to decode whether reflex did good work, yeah, you have possibility to pave the pathway and get myelination, or no, you did poor job, I will not give you myelination, I will not permit you for paving the pathway. So by simple words, metaphorically. So what we want to create connection between extrapyramidal and pyramidal nerve systems. Okay, so what now is biggest challenge? That in child or adult with NFD and HIE, the definition of reflexes doesn't work, guys, anymore. So we want now a reflex circuit to be appropriate to a definition, to a neurophysiological definition. Reflexes emerge very early. Here I have our videos done at Medical University, where I was lecturing in Europe, in Poland. We have just like hundreds of these kind of pictures, videos, where we clearly see at what week of gestation the reflexes are demonstrated, have been demonstrating. So we learned on the basis of watching all this. Or, for example, here, I'm not sure how to do this further. So, can you play the video, please? Okay. Thank you very much. So you see, now our specialist is triggering the receptive field of a reflex, which is called Babinski, when feet must go medially, big toe in the head direction, other toes must spread. So look, and there are some points when we touch points, feet go to Babinski reflex pattern. In NFD, this doesn't work. Many times it will be overextension in ankle joint and foot grasp reflex pattern, Let's go to next, please. Here we are inside medial aspect of the foot, and we go from ball of the foot to calcaneus bone, to the heel. And you see the whole foot is moving in the head direction. So this reflex is completely keeping silence in both diagnoses, children with both diagnoses. Next, please, and let's look at Babkin pulmomental. So here, professional is triggering the left palm, and baby turns the head in hope that now mommy will give the breast. It is not happening. Baby becomes upset. Look, other side is pressed. Went with hope that mommy will be giving the breast, and it is not happening. Next, we are pressing on both palms, and baby goes straight ahead in direct position. This reflex also will be completely switched off, guys. Now, looking at these reflexes, we were creating the techniques, and they are not only for protection and survival, because this is very much important, both of all of these reflexes, for conducting techniques for myelation, or in short, for myelination, guys. The more we repeat this, they are responsible for, in first order, they are like serving as key for extrapyramidal nerve system to know if this system is functional or not. Big deal. So I want also to tell these are the reflexes that help in first order to reconstruct the reflex patterns. I want to show the example that we gave at MAP conference. Can you sit just like straight ahead, please? Let's feel some over the positive effect on our own bodies, mind-body system. Okay, so please extend your body, head straight up, inhale, look far away, relax. In relaxed position now. Please turn your head to one side, and pay attention, what is the range of motion? For that, make imagined line in front of your eyes, straight ahead. What is the middle of your visual field? Okay, thank you. You remember this object that you were seeing in the middle of visual field? If not, then check one time more. Go to other side and do the same. Look at the object that is in the middle of your visual field. Did you pay attention? Come back. Now please push in the middle of your palm strongly, proprioceptive way, and push in the carpal tunnel direction more, to the wrist direction. Press and pull. Press and push. Okay. One time more. Let's do 2 times. Press, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Push in the wrist joint direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One time more. Press. Push. Okay. Now, sitting the same way, relaxed way, turn your head to one side and look where is your visual midline now. What object is there? Measure the distance. Now go to other side. For me it increased. That means I'm some stressed, guys, because in the morning I lost my shoes. Coming to hotel, you're like, what happened? So I'm today without shoes, actually, presenting without shoes. Okay, so what is about reflexes? When reflexes are working properly, they are in a functional state. For unconditioned reflexes, what nature gave us as automaticity to save our life, to protect us. Then the next level, which is conditioned when we are linking reflexes and experience reflexes and learning, will work also well and will be functional. For us next to go to level when they can be neurophysiological foundation to support our cortical functions. So this is kind of the most important thing, and in our work we will focus next how to organize the work with reflex. It's sensory part. Now you touched the receptive field of Babinski reflex. So every reflex has its own field or specific stimulus. For eyes, it can be light or darkness, yeah? For ears, this is sound, and so on. So we are working with all that. What is so very much important for us to work out the brain feedback part. That means in our techniques, we need to follow the dynamic of reflex patterns. Reflexes, guys, when the whole world is stating reflexes are primitive, that means we are accepting that reflexes do not develop. Primitive means only first stage of a reflex after birth within 10 days to 1 month. From 10 days to 1 month. Later we have, instead of primitive, I mean primitive reflex, let's go the time of stress and adaptation to the world, and next we are jumping on development of primary reflex. That means when reflex, it's biomechanics and the function, protective functions come together. For example, if I will take the hand and will go with closure, look, in position, can you go first thumb in? This is primitive, guys. If our children are with abduction of their thumb or they have their thumb which is in, this is primitive. We do not want to be there. We can be there up to 10 days. But now, look, with development, and now with development, we bring our thumb out. This is phase number 2. If this is well developed, then if my baby, child, or adult will grab, and let's say object is moving, they have good grasp and they will not fall down. Or fall down later, I mean, more prepared, brain will more prepared for falling down and not to get injury. So this is why it is so very much important when we talk about the proper work of the reflexes. Our children, in severe case of the brain damage, they will go to Decorticate and Decorticate pathological posturing. And this is most important challenge, I would say, that we need to focus. And now, the basic work of the brain will be whether freezing, whether fight and flight. Sometimes both. On first picture, when I was showing a goal in flexed position for 6 years, this was mixed between Decorticate and Decorticate postures. So this other way, what we want to come out from this position, this pathological posturing. And for that, we have our program that goes with principle of opening or establishing the loops in the brain. We have ready loops in the brain. Let's say motor loop, let's say sensory loop, memory loop, then joy, loop for joy, and so on. And we want to connect reflexes and these loops that are in the interbrain system, in diencephalon level, middle interbrain part. And it is about basal ganglia, guys. Basal ganglia with its all neighboring centers in the brain. Okay, so joyful dive reflex can next become challenging, and basically posturing, negative posturing or pathological posturing, means something had happened with reflexes, which are aquatic reflexes, surfacing reflex and drowning reflex. So surfacing reflex shows usually the hope in the brain, the hope in the body for survival, while drowning child is in flexed position, or adult goes to flexed position. Will show that body lost its resources and prepares to prolong the end. I mean to prolong, not to get into point of end. Does it make sense? Do you understand my English, guys? I hope. So when we are seeing these kind of versions in children with posturing, we immediately know, this brain stopped on level of activity, which is good. We have really more over the, I would say, enthusiasm, in quotes, enthusiasm in the body in comparison with the drowning reflex that is broken because submerging into the water finished negative. It is incident of the loss of oxygen to the brain. Okay, so next we are looking what is happening with all these things. So can we stand up, everyone, please? Those who can, those who wish. Okay, stand straight ahead, extend your body, look far away, inhale, exhale, and relax. Now, straight ahead without any flexion, okay? Please move forward. This is called forward anti-gravity, okay? So what do you feel in your body automatic that you were not planning to do? Do you feel feet grasp? Toes went for grasp? Spine is tighter, do you agree? And head wants to go back, do you agree? So this is exactly what we call core-tendon-guard red light according to Hanselier, discoveries of immediately after war, basically. Second World War. It is 1945, 47. Okay, so now let's go to so-called green light tendon guard. Now, standing straight ahead, lean your body a bit back. Please, you are responsible for your body posture, okay? No falling down on your neighbor. Now, what things do you feel in your body? What are the responses? Your feet went with dorsiflexion, do you agree? And your belly is more tight here, do you agree? And head goes opposite, forward direction. So these are the positions. Look how it is a lot for coordination. Standing straight ahead, go forward and back. Tell me please, what is happening with your perception of visual field when you go forward and when you go back? Forward, it's like smaller span, do you agree? And wider, narrower and wider. It affects our vision, and it doesn't depend on your control, guys. It depends on terrestrial attraction, everything in this. So go forward, feel your auditory system. Try to listen around, back and forth. The same mechanism. You go forward, suddenly you're perceiving sounds like more closer, shorten space, and then it is extended. So let's sit down. And our children with NFD and HIE, these patterns, core tendon guard, red light and green light, are messed up, guys. They want to work at the same time. This is a big problem. And next, what will happen? The reflexes that are helping us with protection, Moro and fear paralysis. Moro says be reactive, fear paralysis says freeze. They are working at the same time. When two different programs jump into brain at the same time, what will happen, guys? Confusion will happen. This is the state of disconnect. This is the reason of disconnect in our children. This is why we say, hey, your baby, your child must work now 4 or 6 months only with fear paralysis before we'll go to Moro reflex. Because fear paralysis, it is the reflex that before under, so to say, control of the red nucleus that is leading to pathological posturing, and Moro higher. So then we need to follow the rules. Okay, guys, as usually at presentations it happens, I managed with 20% or 15% of information, and now we go fast to something another. Okay, so here we are. I know that some of you guys will be very emotional possibly because there are parents of these children. So I have goosebumps already myself. Brain mapping is one of tools, except different other, for us to measure how effective we work, how effectively we work in our program. Neurotransmitters, evoked brain potential, brain mapping, some small group with functional MRI, other very deep, wide study on immunity, and so on. And now it is small examples of the results on brain mapping. So I have no time to talk about the brainwave spectrum, but you all are aware that from alpha state, we can go to beta, which is active brain, high frequency brain waves, our focusing ability to understand, to comprehend, to live consciously, I would say, programming, planning, controlling, and from alpha to theta, this is low frequency brain waves. In case of brainstem death, you understand, we are really on the scale from alpha to theta or delta, guys. Our brain is sleeping. So many of our children will have, so to say, dominance of the slow frequency brain waves. It is one thing. And to awake them, it is not easy. Here is the girl, beautiful girl. Is this okay to tell me the name? This is our beautiful favorite Lily. And her result within 5 days, normalization, 80%, guys. We are not showing this many, yes, we are not like even, we are afraid to show this because nobody will believe this possibility and results within 5 days. And her brain neuroplasticity, by other words, or brain plasticity, changed for 41%. This is some amazing data, which shows that child really got the exercises so well, moved with the brain capacity, brain processing of the information. How did we see this? When child came, Moro fear paralysis were mixed, strong confusion. Breathing was reversed. Brain wanted to do inhale and exhale at the same time. Did you hear how your children with more severe brain damage were doing this? Do you remember this kind of breathing? This is reverse breathing, guys, when our brain wants to do two things at the same time. So this was our task, to calm down breathing reflexes first. So when Lily was with us during lectures, evening lectures for parents, we couldn't hear lecturer because of this loud breathing, because of such confusion of the breathing. So in 3 days, 2-3 days, we were hearing lectures, which was something amazing how breathing started working. And here the results, which is actually one of 3 champions in the world that we have this high percentage of the normalization of the brain, which is 80, 70, 60. other brain mapping at here, just like it's a lot of talk, what leads in the brain mapping, we're working better pre-test and post-test and other places. So here we see that some cortical functions switched on, some auditory functions improved, and also the visual cortex. Other here, look, this is an amazing child that even studied speech development. I mean, speaking, it was something amazing. The improvement, 49 changes plasticity, and for 43 normalization. At this moment, I cannot tell well enough because of the number of the children in statistics to compare with, let's say, with cerebral palsy or autism or other diagnosis, what is the average level of changes. I can tell for sure with NFD, HIE, for brain function, it is going like 27, 32% over the change in, let's say, absolute power marker, and also with the plasticity, neuroplasticity. It is closer to 37, 39, which is really big. The only thing we need to understand that these children need repetition. This is why we're training our parents for discipline, guys. The results mean we can go with improvement of functions. Still, we need to feed brain further on. Reflex exercises, this is the food for improving of the brain patterns. So here the names, so to say, the titles of the program that we are working with. And next, these are the number of reflexes that we realize in our programs, many, 30 of them. Then these are suggestions how to start to work with the NFD, HIE. First, these are pathological posturing reflexes, then those reflexes that serve for retrieval of the interconnectivity and interconnectivity, links within reflex patterns and between reflexes. Okay, and here is Mullen. I will not go to videoing, it will be otherwise long. Child with NFD and eyes going with strabismus laterally. The breathing is controlled, regulated, and I do specific techniques. We do not want to go with videos, please. Yeah, we're not managing with time. And look, this is almost ending result when during work with Babkin Postural, specific auditory reflexes and sucking reflex pattern, child first time opened the eyes and went into communication. First it was a smile, maybe physiological reaction, but it was a smile.
Amazing.
Okay.
Taylor, now you are with us. Look, your eyes are open and you're listening and even smiled. Can you smile one time more, please?
Okay, so invitation. And here you can just like follow the sequence of what was happening during his coming back, connect, from disconnect to connect. For sure, this is a child that was working 5 hours a day and 5 days per conference. So there are many other information and results, guys. So if you want to have these slides, you are very welcome. So we will share. Here you will find the most important information about the techniques, and one is exactly the protocol for NFD, HIE, and here we are giving, I would say, our most dear techniques, secrets that we were working last 35, 38 years. Me personally, international team, let's say 20, 25 years, and I was working very strongly on this project with my son, Denis Masgutov, and here more of the cases, just like for you to see further different results, including different techniques for the brain mapping. So this is the time when I must finish. I want to thank very much everyone who is here, and also here some children that attended our conferences. I thank you very much for coming. I feel this really a very strong support and our further connection. I want to tell great thank you for Look Foundation. Thank you for invitation. I want to thank all our MNRI teams, our national team, United States and international. And I hope that in the future, traditional system will start studying reflexes and will enrich their conscious mind and also their conscious practices, why reflexes can go with faster results, with optimum support of the nerve system, and give better life for our dearest children who are winners. Yes. And all of them are amazing when we talk about their souls and cognitive development. There is no even one child that goes with complete mental retardedness or disability, how we often hear, guys. We worked so deep, so long with these children to know what is going on in their perceptual system inside. Thank you very much for all these children and adults for being our teachers. Thank you.